Well, it seems almost redundant to introduce this panel because the first panel did such a good job of introducing all of you. But let me say, very excited to be with you, Chancellor Darrell Allison of Fayetteville State University, President Larry Keene, Fayetteville Tech Community College, and Lisa Turlington, who is the Dean of Advancement and Foundation Director at Sampson Community College. I think I got all of that right. Yes. Let me start with you, Chancellor. We're having this broad conversation about the keys to economic recovery. And how do you position an institution of higher education in a regional conversation about economic recovery after an unprecedented pandemic?
Yeah, listen, I think first things first. We are an educational institution. And so, Fayetteville State University, we want to be our best in educating our children, our students, if you will, adult learners. And we want to be as affordable as we possibly can. And we want to meet them where they are. And that's traditional as well as adult learner, 25 years and older. We lead the UNC system of adult learners. 25 years and older. So we're a pretty unique UNC system school here. So, first and foremost, that's important. I think the second thing is when we talk about adult learner is we have to understand that they're coming and they want to work. They come in with a purpose. And so, for instance, meeting with our provost here, we have lined up in 2022, fall of 2022, meaning programs that are going to be in operation here on this campus: cybersecurity, BS, manufacturing, material science, and supply chain. That we're taking a sense, getting a sense of the market here, and making sure that we are sensitive to what the chamber here in Fayetteville, Cumberland County is saying. We're being sensitive to Fayetteville Cumberland Economic Development Corporation is saying, our chamber, our county commissioners, our city council, that we're sitting on these boards and we're in these meetings and we're being sensitive. Yeah, we're education, but it's also make sure that we're being good stakeholders in that regard as well.
And can I just stop you for a quick second because I want to confirm something. I presume what you're saying is you're hearing from these industries that they cannot grow because they cannot find enough workers.
That's
enough
correct.
Skilled workers.
That's correct. Okay. And last but not least, we're education. Now, remember, we're going to be baseline. We're an education institution. And we have in our Broadwell College of Business and Economics, we're top 5 in the nation when it comes to affordability and excellence. But we can't just live there. So right across the street, we have Bronco Square. That's a mall strip. Now, what's powerful about that is that we own it 100%. As a couple months ago, we own it 100%. About 20 businesses there. But what's powerful there is 6,500 square foot of a facility. We designated that. We gave that back to the city, to the county, and to the Sand Hill region, essentially. And we are holding that out spring of 2022. It should be done. And we have deemed that, given that to the Entrepreneurship Hub, Innovation Hub. And there, we want our College of Business expert, illustrious educators, et cetera, to come off the campus onto Bronco Square, where our entrepreneurs and small business owners may be a little bit intimidated to come on the campus of Fayetteville State. They may be much more comfortable coming onto Bronco Square, and we're engaging our small business leaders, engaging an entrepreneur so that we are being a benefit to the city of Fayetteville. We are being a benefit to Cumberland County. We're being a benefit to the Sand Hill regions. Yes, we're steeped in education, but we've got to be more pliable. We've got to be more of a stakeholder. We've got to be more of a partner here in real time and being a partner here and helping with the workforce as of today, the needs there.
Fantastic. That's really exciting. Larry, you also have a large population of adult learners. They come to you also wanting to get the skills they need to connect to work or to entrepreneurial activity. But they come to you with maybe different needs than would an 18-year-old. Talk to us about how you provide supportive programming so that you can make it possible for these adults to upskill themselves.
Thank you. We accommodate many, many needs. We continue to serve the high school students that matriculate to us from across the region, really across the country in so many ways, but at the same time, the majority of our students are typically adult students. That's characteristic of the community colleges throughout the United States and really has been such since its inception back in the 50s and 60s, really, when it really started moving forward. It's literally a situation in our case where the people come to us with a variety of circumstances. Some of them could go to Harvard, they could go to MIT, they could go to Fayetteville State, they could go to anywhere they want to go. But they're comfortable here, they like what we do, how we do it, and so forth, so they come for the first 2 years. Or, just as importantly, they come to us for that period of training and education that will immediately get them into occupations and careers that give more of a livable wage or a salary or an opportunity for growth and prosperity that's really interesting to them. And so one of the things we try to do is understand that. You know, you have pedagogy, you have andragogy, and so working with different folks in terms of communicating with them in the languages they understand, but at the same time listening to them is an important element of what I think all of us have to do in education, because it's that journey, that discovery process in so many ways that matters to them. But they need specific elements to help them further themselves in terms of those particular areas, regardless of whether it's healthcare, business, or computer information systems, or whatever it might be. So we work with them in a wide variety of ways. We have many of the, we're initiating a new program right now. We work with the J.M. Belk Endowment. I've asked the Chancellor to be on my steering committee with that, and we work with them aggressively to figure out how can we take the 72,000 people in Cumberland County who have some college but no degree, or some college or no meaningful credential, and help them get to the finish line. So we've initiated that program in concert with others, and we're moving forward on that pretty expeditiously. Secondly, we're taking a look at people that may have made mistakes, as all people do. Some of them get caught, and they pay the price. And so unfortunately, sometimes the entire world places a difficult moniker on them for them to ever overcome. So we help them with a thing that we call Grow Cumberland right now, which is taking people with a bit of a record, as long as it's nonviolent, non-terrible in nature, and then help them overcome that and bring them back into the educational and training arena, so that they in fact know that there is an opportunity for the future. And in those cases, I think in most cases, the last time I checked, just about every one of those people are hired before they complete the program. And we're working with the DA and many others in the legal community in Cumberland County right now to take individuals who may have had a problem in the past, and we're taking our paralegal folks and helping them under the supervision of the lawyers and judges and others to come in and then help expunge those records so that those people, in fact, can go out as adults and take advantage of the opportunities that our respective institutions provide.
A very unique role for an educational institution to play.
Yes, we can educate, we can train, and we know that the fastest way from difficulty to prosperity is through the educational facilities that we have. And quite frankly, it's a situation in which I think all of us are understanding now more than ever that the methods by which we do that may not reflect traditional approaches. Those traditional approaches are still tried and true in many respects, but I think the requirements for us to go in and do new things that are faster in their delivery, more specific in their content and their value, will enhance anybody regardless of what level they have earned in their educational enterprise. And so we, working with companies who do this as well as we, are providing solutions to problems that are rather significant in nature. And quite frankly, we think it gives better service to the people we're trying to serve.
I want you to help us understand what is different today about your thinking in serving your students and your community than 2 years ago. And maybe different is too strong a word. Maybe there are things that have more salience for you because of what the community has just gone through in terms of COVID-19. But what has changed?
Well, I think a lot has changed. I think all of us have a great respect and honor for traditional approaches to higher education. I mean, there's real value in that. But the manner and the methodology that we use to get there may have changed rather dramatically. Now, I think, in my estimation, that we were forced. None of us intentionally went into the scenario we went into in the last 2 years, I promise you. But at the same time, we had one of two choices to make. That's either accommodate this need and respond rapidly and effectively to it, or suffer. And more importantly, our communities would have suffered. And so it is a process where we had to learn very quickly to take wonderful processes and systems and create systems whereby that was more available to the people out there, because they couldn't come face-to-face under the vagaries of COVID-19. And yet I think what adapted so quickly, and it was not without pain, all over the state, four-year colleges and universities to include community colleges and others, it required really sharpening the proverbial axe to get better at delivering online, doing hybrid instruction, and not relying solely on face-to-face and traditional instruction.
So Lisa, I want you to help us look ahead for a moment. Picking up exactly where Larry has left us, what do you see in the future around innovations for accelerating learning, for more technology-based learning? Where are we going?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, as Larry said, we all kind of got caught and were forced to adapt in ways that maybe we never expected to be able to. And so I think we definitely all have to find a way to improve the delivery of these online programs. I think there's a huge disparity in what the community colleges are able to do and what the universities are able to do. I had an experience, a few years ago with the delivery of the MPA at UNC, and it was, it was seamless and beautiful. And I know that a lot of our faculty have struggled to come along with it, but we're going to have to do a better job with that. We've got so many of our students are part-time and trying to figure out a way to make ends meet. Many of them are working, and 72% of the students at Sampson are part-time, and so we have to be creative and flexible in how we deliver it. And some of them are going to want the face-to-face, and some of them are still going to want to demand and expect high-quality distance learning. And we've got to find a way to continue to get better at that, while at the same time offering the traditional classes that Larry mentioned. We are some people, are not as successful with the online, and we've seen that, with us at Sampson, we were having to offer some really small sections because we're trying to spread everyone so thin, and you have to be able to accommodate it, even though you may have most of your students in online. So that's challenging with resources at a small school.
Can I add something?
Absolutely. I see your finger going, and I'm tickled by that, because we're not even in class and you're raising your finger.
Yeah, listen, out of respect, there is only one Anita. And it's ncIMPACT. But I want to share with you what we are learning from our community colleges and how we've pivoted here just in the nearly 9 months that I've been here as chancellor. And it's just pretty interesting. And so yes, we're for institutional education is important. We were very fortunate in the NC system, UNC system. We're designated with the only one that have the Center for Defense Homeland Security. We're reimagining that, and in that we have the ability to offer 7 different levels of certification. And we're going about that in a more robust way, 2022 and beyond. We're talking about individuals that can earn between $65,000 to almost $100,000. We're really excited about that. But since I've been here in 2 months, we just brought on another center. It's a Center for Enterprise Resource Planning and Advanced Analytics, CERPA. What's more important to understand is SAP certification. It's one of the highest SAP. It's $100,000 or more, if you will. About 90% of your more major corporations, that's the platform that they use. And what's unique about it is here, we are one regionally, 10 states in the region that will be in position to be able to certify. And there we'll be able to provide about 5 certifications. So between the 2 centers, we're talking 12 certifications of real significant dollars that you can generate. So what's powerful is here, again, looking at our community college, yes, you can get the education, we get you the degrees, if you will, but for those that are in the workforce, and they're looking to climb that ladder today, you can also come to Fayetteville State, that's right, you can come to Fayetteville State University right here and be able to get here and climb that ladder as well. And again, going back to workforce, how does Fayetteville State University impact me? How do you impact my life today? How can you be a real partner in Fayetteville, in Cumberland County, in the Sandhill region today? And that's what we're picking up. That's what we're learning and growing, if you will, and being a partner that's a real partner in many strategic ways.
So let me ask another question. I'm going to ask the question, and then you can answer it any way you want to.
That's what I want to do.
I know you. I know exactly what you're going to do. All right. So in this conversation, scale matters. We all understand that more people are going to need more entry ramps and exit ramps from education as they constantly try to reskill themselves. How are we creating capacity to educate more people since we no longer live in a one and done world?
I'm so glad you asked that question. That's what I was going to say. But the truth of the matter is, if we don't do it, someone else is going to do it for us. And quite frankly, we can stay stayed in our old way of doing things, and we're going to become irrelevant. I was on the phone last week with Deloitte & Touche, Lumina Foundation, Google, and others. And they've already are finding ways in which they take the best of what we jointly provide and then add to those short-term certificates that are rigorous and relevant, and they are in fact tested, and yet they on the average jump people from $30,000 to $69,000 a year when it adds additional depth to what they've learned. And so I think all the things that we have learned over the years about what is really meaningful in higher education, they're still meaningful, so don't misunderstand me. I mean, I think all of what we do, it matters. But by the same token, we've got to learn a new model, and that means being far more entrepreneurial, being far more aggressive in the way that we reflect what those hiring organizations out there are going to require of us. I mean, there was a time to where, as a professor, I'd walk in and say, you know, I learned how to do this in the classroom, and by golly, you got to follow it. I did, and I was good at it, but at the same time now, if I'm not connected elbow to elbow with that industry sector, whatever it's defined by, then I'm not relevant. And so it's to use the comment from one of the gentlemen from Lumina and Deloitte, you start at the company and you work your way backwards and design curricula, design programs to fulfill those needs so that when they finish our programs and they are able to go, whether it's further education at the university or if it's directly to work, or in most cases a combination of both, that they have real value to those hiring organizations, and they add to the value that we help create together. And it's not one of us alone. It takes all of us to make that happen. But if we don't do that and do it consistently well at a pace that's far faster than what we've ever done before, we're going to find ourselves irrelevant, because if we don't do it, there are those organizations out there that will do it for us, and then we become even less relevant. So that demand, that sense of urgency is extraordinarily important to all of us.
Lisa, when you look at some of these potential disruptors, and Google is certainly one of them, but they're not the only company offering really robust micro-credentialing, do you see an opportunity for new partnerships?
Sure. In fact, you know, I think we all have to get to a point, as Larry was saying, just embrace them, embrace the disruptors. Sampson County Schools is working with Dell, and then they're collaborating with the community college for some internships that our faculty and their IT department coordinate with the students so that they can intern and earn some of these certifications while they're still in high school and be ready maybe to go straight into the workforce or some combination, as Larry said, of work and continuing school. So I think we have to just find ways to partner with them, and let's all work together to really serve the students.
Questions from the audience? This panel will just ask each other questions, so, you know. So education is going to be a differentiator going forward. We know that. The vast majority of new jobs that will be created will require some kind of post-secondary attainment, whether that's a degree or some high-value certificate. We also know that even if we looked at all jobs being created, those that are going to pay a living wage are the ones that will require more education. So more and more, it's clear that if you don't have access, you're not in the game. What is the plan for students who have significant gaps coming out of high school? Do we say, sorry, or do we have bridge opportunities?
We do, and I'm not just saying this because Dr. Keene, who I have a tremendous respect for, and taping, Aaron is taping here, we literally have a play date in a couple days. And he doesn't know it, but we
You have a what?
Play date established. He doesn't know it, but my team, listen, we have 58 community colleges in this great state. Fayetteville Tech Community College is the best.
Well, you can't say that because
well,
she's got Sampson.
I feel very, you know,
say that.
and you know, Sampson is close second. But candidly, you know, Fayetteville State University, we can be a stronger partner, and so this luncheon, this play date was ways in which we're going to be a stronger partner with Fayetteville Tech Community College.
I think you should just invite yourself to that.
Well, we're coming that way. I've already shared we're coming that way.
Play day.
But we have to understand we can't do it alone. So, see, we can't, you know, if we're going to make sure that we're going to reach every child, and no matter where you live, regardless of your zip code, regardless of where you live, you too can achieve the American dream. Fully on you. If you're not collaborating, if you're not partnering, if you're not leveraging, we're not reaching out to Sampson County highways and byways. If you're not looking at, I call him Dr. King, K-I-N-G. I know, because he's great at what he does. If we, you know, he's right down the road here. Come on, let's get together here and let's leverage what we're doing here so that we can be of greater impact to the next generation. That's what it's all about. And as we collectively come together, the nation looks at the UNC system, whether it be the higher ed or our community colleges, and they marvel at what we do. Can't we imagine when we all come together just how much more dynamic that can be? That's how we win. That's how we ensure that no child is left behind. And when we do that, we'll be the marvel of the world. And then it'll be United States impact. Anyway. There you go.
There is so much that you heard here tonight first. The region, the gateway to the Southeast. And I now realize that Glenn didn't mean in North Carolina. He meant in the whole country. And you're taking me along with you in ncIMPACT. I love it. I could be in this region all day. I could be here all week talking about how these collaborations are differentiating the region, making a difference, and setting. Is that a sign that we've gone on too long? Making a difference and really setting the course for the rest of the state. But right now, I'm standing between you and the reception. And so I want to thank you for being with us this evening. Thank you so much to the panelists. I'm Anita Brown-Graham, and this is ncIMPACT.